My private family life keeps me very busy. I have a lot of hobbies that I've done here for many years. One of the reasons, well, I moved back to Iowa City. I lived here for 3 years back in the 80s when I got my specialty medical training. And my wife and I decided we wanted to come back and raise our family here. So many of the attributes of Iowa City we learned about during the first chapter of our time here. And that was running, biking, golfing. There's a lot of things to do outside here. I always like doing mountain climbing. Not a whole lot of mountains here, unless you're talking about the Benton Street Hill. But the fact that there is there's a lot of stuff to do. And we came back, and that in addition to my work. I'm a family doctor. I'm a family physician. That's what I did in my medical specialty training back in the early 80s. And I came back here and I joined the faculty at a time when they needed someone to focus on areas of elder care, or what we call geriatric medicine. So I teach, I see patients. I actually see patients a little bit more than half the time. So I'm not your classic research university physician. I have an active practice. I do a lot of teaching, specifically in geriatrics, like I mentioned, but also end-of-life care. I train a lot of the physicians who go out and do hospice work in the region. Plus, I also do a lot of work right in the hospital, taking care of our inpatients as well. So very typical of family medicine, very broad, but it's just a wonderful area of medicine. I've really enjoyed all the years I've been here. In fact, I've been in my department more than anybody, so I'm sort of the old man of the group. Learning how to be and learning how to stay a good physician takes a lot of work. And then there's also the outside life, very active with my family, the schools that my children have gone to, and my church. But I think what really changed for me a couple of years ago is that I became interested in the Johnson County Board of Health, and I all of a sudden stepped into the community in a natural area in the Board of Health. It was an appointed position, but it was at a time that was very intense for the Board of Health, and I learned a lot of things about it was to be a community leader. And I thought, this actually is much of the same reasons I got into family medicine at the first time. I then got involved for the same reasons, because all of a sudden people knew me in that area in terms of the 21 ordinance here. I led the first effort to get the 21 ordinance on the ballot. A lot of things that went way before a lot of things have occurred in the last 2 years have been later chapters. I worked on the earlier chapters. And so I cut my teeth on the Board of Health. I served on a lot of boards. I got politically active and learned what it is to get out on the sidewalks and get votes. And all this, I think, pretty much brought me to where I am now, being on the Iowa City Council. I think the early roots was my family traveled to Russia about 15 years ago. I was awarded a Fulbright grant, which gives an opportunity for someone in an academic setting to go to a foreign country. And I had learned Russian way back in high school, whatever that means. And I sort of perfected that when I went and brought my family to St. Petersburg. And this is at a time when Russia wasn't doing nearly as well as it was now. This is in the mid-90s. And I saw how important it was toward well-being to have good government that cared about the people, that worked efficiently. And that started me thinking, perhaps that's what really led me to the Board of Health, because I saw when there was a dissonance between what our community and governmental leaders are doing and with health and well-being. The two were very much attached, and I felt that was a natural role for me to play. The reasons I came back, it's a vibrant city. There's so much culture going on, more than I could ever, be a part of. It's just the fact that if you, like at a city council meeting, the room is always full. The people are always very interested, very integrated into the community. You don't get that everywhere. They're very much into the city, and the city shows that. The city not only is a growing community, but it's a caring community. It is a community that suffers when it needs to suffer. It celebrates when it needs to celebrate. And I think that such an intensely passionate community is just a place where I want to live, and it's just been a fantastic experience for me and my family. Oh, this is the decade of Iowa City. It is growing in so many different ways in terms of what's going on down south of downtown. Some of the arts that are going on continue to grow in the downtown area. There are some vibrant areas growing in different parts of the city. There's different professional organizations, young professionals coming and to start their careers in Iowa City. This just gets bigger and bigger. And the fact that Iowa City is, despite all of this growth, despite all of this excitement and culture, is still financially solvent and a fairly conservative community in terms of how we spend the money that we have here.